Game 2 of the Friday afternoon doubleheader between Post and Felician about set to get underway. The Golden Eagles took game 1 12-5 in the front half. They're looking for the sweep in the back half, and they will be facing Justin Portes, the senior right-hander out of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, will be on the mound for Post. Dive into the Felician order as this one moves along. Portes kicks and deals, and we are underway from Waterbury Municipal Stadium at 3:46 local time. First pitch. It's gotten up to 65 degrees, and the sun has returned. Portes gets back in the zone, evens the count 1-1 against Jackson Wall. Wall leading off once again. Falls behind 1-2. Wall in game 1 was 3 for 5, had an RBI and a run scored. And the 12-5 win. Felician got off to that hot start. 4 runs in the first inning as Wall fouls off the 1-2. Portes this season making his 4th appearance and 4th start on the year. Comes in with an 8.38 ERA and an 0-1 mark overall through 9 2/3 innings pitched. The 1-2. Wall ground ball off the leaping glove of Portes. Vega can't scoop it up on the backhand, or the bare hand rather. And Wall is aboard on the leadoff spot for Felician. And then Jose Medrano will step into the 2 spot. It's the same order essentially from Felician. Bunt squared around, throw back to Wall, or to Contreras is not in time to tag out Wall. We'll take a look at Post's defensive alignment. Damaris Rodriguez is out in center. He's flanked in left by Hayden Roberge, and Harvey Valera takes over in right field. Manny Contreras starts at first base. Rene Vega's at second, Jesse Alfala at short, and Justin Rivera over at third. Snap throw back to first, and caught out is Wall. He was looking to go for another stolen base, and he was caught in the hot water on the snap throw back by Portes. Great throw over from Portes and a great tag by Contreras, and now the bases are empty with 1 gone. Medrano came in as a late substitution for Luis de la Cruz, who exited with an injury in that 9 spot. Called strike on the breaking ball, makes it 1-2. Medrano went 1 for 1 in game 1, tripled in the 9th. He was left stranded on the base paths. 1-2, checks his swing, holds back, and it's 2-2. Medrano on the ground. Alfala knocks it down, fires to first. It's not in time. Didn't scoop it cleanly on the ground ball, did Alfala, and Medrano with good speed able to beat out the throw. Brings up Chris Corchado, first baseman for Felician. First pitch is outside to Corchado. Got subbed out late for Braden Walsh as a defensive change. Corchado went 1 for 3 in his first 4 trips to the plate. Doubled and scored in the first, then had a fly out, then walked and scored in the 5th, and grounded out in his 4 times up in game 1. Standing on deck is Rocco Bresniak. Then Anthony Lamar to follow in the 5 spot. 2-0. Hit foul down the left field line. Hayden Walters bats 6th, playing at second base. Ernesto Polanco, who had the 4 RBI day in game 1, bats 7th, playing at third. Matt Cervonic is back at short, batting eighth, and rounding things out is the center fielder and Christian Baumann. So the same lineup as game one, just the one change at catcher as Corchado hits it on the ground, out of reach for a diving Vega at second base. Stopping at second base is Medrano. Bresniak now comes up. First pitch is in the dirt from Portes, and it's 1-0. Bresniak was 2 for 5 in his at-bats in game one. As he shoots this the other way into right field, Medrano gets the wave around at third. A throw home from Valera is a strike, and Medrano is thrown out. Felician getting aggressive, looking to strike first again in the top of the first, and Medrano rounded third, ended up losing his cleat about halfway down the line. I don't think it really would have mattered. Valero with an absolute dart from right field guns down Medrano, and there's 2 away. Despite 4 Felician hits in this first inning, Portes trying to work an unconventional scoreless frame. Really, looking at the stats, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but he's 1 out away from doing it. Lamar steps in and takes the first pitch strike. Lamar, the DH. The 0-1. Popped up foul. Lamar went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Had an RBI ground out in the first inning. And singled in the 5th and in the 7th. Came in to score in the 7th. Portes, a long look at Corchado at second, the 0-2 home. Slow roller up the middle, Alfala, gloves, throws the first, in time for out number 3. Some strong defensive plays from Post in the top of the first, holds Felician scoreless. After Harvey Valera gunned down Jose Medrano, who was looking to make it 1-0 Felician, we head to the bottom of the first with Post looking to strike first when we come back on the CACC network. Bottom of the first inning, nothing to score after Felician had 3 hits, left 2 runners on in the bottom of the first. But strong defense from Post keeps it scoreless. Jackson Wall was caught out on the bases on a pickoff from Justin Portes. Then Jose Medrano was gunned down on a strong throw from Harvey Valera and right, trying to make it 1-0. And Jesse Alfala with a nice defensive play to end the inning. He now leads off in the bottom of the first, facing Sadier Vicioso. Left-hander from Felician. Makes it 1-1 as Alfala cuts and misses. Vicioso, a sophomore out of Farmingville, New York, transferred from Stony Brook. The 1-1. At the knees, a called strike. Vicioso making his 7th appearance, 6th start in the year. Comes in with a 4.45 ERA and a 2-1 record. Here comes the 1-2. Heater skips in the dirt right over top the laces of the cleats of Alfala, and he went jumping out of the way. Vicioso's gone 28 1/3 innings. He's given up 18 runs, 14 of those earned on 27 hits. He's got 37 Ks to 10 walks. The 2-2. Alfala sends a blooper out towards center field, and it'll drop in for a leadoff base hit for Jesse Alfala. Opponents are batting .243 against Vicioso coming into today. That'll go up just a tick as Alfala leads off with a base hit. Brings up Hayden Roberge, batting second, playing in left field. You saw a look at the Post order in between innings. Roberge showing bunt. Infield comes charging in. He pulls back, and it's a called strike, going 1. Roberge batted in the 6th spot in Game 1. He went 0 for 4. He squares around again, puts it down the first base side. Corchado fields, flips to second. Walters covering. He's got it for out number 1. Advancing over to second goes Alfala. Brings up Damaris Rodriguez, the left fielder. Looking at the defensive alignment for Felician, Christian Bauman's out in center, flanked in left by Jackson Wallen and right by Rocco Brozniak. First pitch to Rodriguez is in the dirt, 1-0. Corchado occupies first base with Walters at second. And it's Matthew Skrivanik at short and Ernesto Polanco at third with Jose Medrano as the battery mate for Vicioso. 1-0 misses high, and it's 2-0. Now to Rodriguez. Rodriguez went 2 for 4 in Game 1. A single and a double. Also worked a walk and stole a base. 2-0 is downstairs. 3-0. Vicioso checks the runner over at second, the throw back home, and Rodriguez swinging on the 3-0. Fouls it off first base side. He looks back at Alfala. That one's inside for ball 4. It skips away from the catcher Medrano. Quickly advancing over to third goes Alfala and puts runners on the corners with 1 gone in the bottom of the first. Post looking to strike first. Trailed all of Game 1. Fell behind 4-0 in that first inning. Got within 1, but then just couldn't find a way to keep Felician scoreless the rest of the way. The solo home run for Matthew Skrivanik woke up the bats once again from Felician and outscored Post 7-1. over the last few innings. That one misses downstairs against Rivera. Post made it 5-4 after 5, and then it was 7-1 the rest of the way over the last 4 innings for Felician. The 1-0 misses against Rivera, and it's 2-0. The 2-0 from Vicioso is outside, 3-0. Rodriguez is at first and Alfala's at third. A lot of speed on the base paths for Rivera, who picked up a couple of RBIs in game 1 on a 2-for-4 day. Taken all the way on the 3-0, Vicioso finds the zone, and it's 3-1. Rivera has a team-high 28 RBIs for Post this season. The 3-1. Swing and a miss on the high fastball. Count runs full to Rivera. The payoff pitch home. Rivera sends it the other way out towards right field. Bresniak moves over into the gap. He makes the catch. Alfala tags. He'll come in to score, and Post strikes first in the bottom of the first in game 2. It's 1-0 on the sac fly from Justin Rivera. His third RBI of the day, 29th of the season. Brings up Isaiah Velasco, the catcher. He was playing in right field in game 1. He now goes to catcher in game 2. Velasco had 3 RBIs on a 2-for-5 day. Had an RBI triple in the third and then a 2-run double in the 5th. That's what made it 5-4, gave Post some life until struggled to get the offense going the rest of the way. He takes the first pitch called strike on the inner half. The other 3 times up, Velasco went down looking, all strikeouts, all of which he thought he worked walks in. Rodriguez goes on the 0-1. Velasco fouls it straight back, and it's 0-2. Standing on deck is Jalen Kelly for Post. The 0-2 to Velasco. Fouled back once again. Vicioso checks over at Rodriguez at first. He's held on to by Corchado. The 0-2 to Velasco. Checks his swing and he holds back. He did not go around, and the count sits at 1-2. One, two. Off speed is outside, 2-2. Long look in from Vicioso, the 2-2. Slow roller, second base side. Walters scoops it up, sidearm throw to first. In time, and the inning is over. But Post strikes first on the sacrifice fly from Justin Rivera, brings in Alfala. We head to the second, where it is 1-0 Post on the CACC Network. Top of the second inning, it's 1-0 Post. The Eagles strike first on a sacrifice fly from Justin Rivera to bring in Jesse Alfala. And for the first time today, Post will have a pitcher pitching with the lead in Justin Portez. He will face 6, 7, and 8 in the Felician order, beginning with Hayden Walters, who takes the first pitch ball outside. Walters had a productive game one. As the 1-0 comes in, he flies this out shallow left field, charging in his Roberge, and he'll make the catch. As Walters is retired after he went 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored, a couple of RBIs as well, and 2 triples in game one. He falls 0 for 1 to start game two. Of course, just 7 innings in game two. Shortened for the doubleheader. Of course, got to account for travel time back. Game one was delayed from 12 to 12:30. Felician hit traffic on their way here. As Ernesto Polanco squared around a bunt, pulls back and takes the first pitch ball high. Polanco was the star of game one for Felician offensively. 3 for 5 with a run scored. Drove in 4 RBIs. The 1-0 bouncer, second base side. Vega on the backhand. Strong throw onto first is in time for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down quickly in the second for Portez. Let his defense make plays behind him. Matt Skrivanik checks in, the shortstop now for Felician. Had a solo home run in game one. He cuts and misses. Man, it's 0-1 quickly. Standing on deck if it gets to him, the 9-hitter Christian Baumann. This one driven straight back up the middle, and Skrivanik has a 2-out base hit. Had a 3 for 5 game one with a double, the home run, and a single. Now it brings up Christian Baumann, the 9-hitter for Felician. He was 1 for 5, was 0 for 4 to start until he picked up a 2-run double in the 9th. He shoots this other one the other way down the left field line, slices foul. Breaking ball from Portez is just high, and it's 1-1. Last start for Portez came on the 29th of March at Southern Connecticut with 5 innings, giving up 2 runs on 5 hits, 10 strikeouts to just 3 walks. The 1-1, outside 2-1. We saw in game one the strikeout troubles for Post, just 2 strikeouts total across the 3 pitchers. This Felician team does not strike out a lot, as Baumann falls behind 2-2. He was 0 for 4, but all of which were pop-outs to start the day. In game one, trying to keep the inning going. Going on the 2-2. Baumann cuts and misses. Portez gets his first strikeout of the afternoon. And we head to the bottom of the second with a 1-0 Post lead here on the CACC network. Bottom of the second inning from Waterbury Municipal Stadium. Thanks for joining me on the CACC Network. I'm Matt Scalzo. Delighted to have you with me on this Friday afternoon. Back half of the doubleheader. Felician took game one 12-5. They took the lead early, never surrendered it. Now they're looking for the sweep, and they got to work from behind. Post struck first in the bottom of the first on a sacrifice fly from Justin Rivera that brought in Jesse Alfala. Felician's gotten base runners on. They had 4 hits the first time through the order, but weren't able to muster any runs across against Justin Portez. Jose Medrano was the closest to doing that, but he was thrown out by Harvey Valera, who will come up to bat in this inning. Jalen Kelly leads off, and he takes the first pitch in the dirt from Sadier Vicioso. Kelly was 0 for 4 in game one. Takes that outside, and it's 2-0. Kelly pulls it down the line. This will drop in for a base hit. A leadoff single for Jalen Kelly. Nice for him to get back in the hit column. He was 0 for his last 11. First hit since game 2 against Southern Connecticut State on the 30th. Brings up Harvey Valera. Takes first pitch ball downstairs. Valera was the one that threw out Medrano. And he starts his 17th game of the season, 20th appearance overall for Valera. He takes that outside 2-0. 241 hitter, has a home run and 10 RBIs. Gets on base at a 343 clip. Sharply pulls this one, and ducking out of the way were Post players standing out of the dugout. So Kelly's on first. He was 0 for his last 12. As Valera cuts and misses, and it's 2-2. Two to Valera is high, and the count runs full. Valera in his junior season, first with Post, transferred from Calhoun Community College. Comes in on a 2-game hit streak. Both came on Tuesday and in the doubleheader against Wilmington, a hit in each game. This chopper up the middle, picture-perfect double play ball. And it spun around, but not in time for the double play. Scrivonic, the flip to Walters, was able to get Kelly out. But Valera, with good speed, beats the throw from Walters. And he's able to just take places on the fielder's choice with Kelly. Brings up Manny Contreras, the first baseman for Post. Contreras was thrusted into the lineup in game 1 after Michael Cardona, the standard and everyday first baseman for Post, exited with an injury just 2 batters in. After Luis de la Cruz popped out to Jesse Alfala, Cardona and Alfala collided and went out with obvious discomfort in his wrist to lower forearm area. So Contreras was put in the lineup, and he was 0 for 3 with a walk in his first trips to the plate. In a 1-1 count with 1 away. Turns, flies this out towards left field. Wall is there battling the sun. He's able to make the catch for out number 2. Rene Vega now comes up, the 9-hitter and the second baseman. He batted second in game 1. Singled and scored and then walked and scored his first 2 times up. After that, he was 0 for 3. Takes the first pitch ball, and it's 1-0. The 1-0, and Vega slaps it foul down the right field line. A switch hitter is Vega, 5'7" freshman. Takes that upstairs, and it's 2-1. Two-one comes in, and Vega pops it foul. 2-2 with 2 away. Valera is over at first. Two. Fouled off once again from Vega. He's come around to score in 3 consecutive games and 5 of his last 6 contests. He's got hits in 4 of those as well. He's got hits in 8 of his last 10 contests. 2-2. Softly hit ground ball straight to Corchado at first. Takes it to the bag himself, and the inning is over. After Kelly led off with a single, it's 3 straight outs for Vicioso, and we head to the second post with a 1-0 lead here on the CACC Network. Back to the top of the order for Felician in the top of the 3rd inning. Post clinging on to a 1-0 lead here in Game 2 of this Friday afternoon doubleheader. They're looking for the split after Felician took Game 1 12-5. They took the lead early, never let it go. Now they're working from behind are the Golden Falcons. And this is the part of the order if you want to get back into a game that they want coming up. Jackson Wall leads off. And then it's Jose Medrano and Chris Corchado to come up after. Wall began the game with a single, but then was picked off by Justin Portes, who comes out for his 3rd inning of work. Wall extending his hitting streak to 8 games with that single in the 1st inning. Comes in riding a 4-game multi-hit streak. Checks his swing and went around on the 0-1, and it's quickly 0-2. The 0-2. Wall pulls it down the line in left field. This goes bouncing along. Wall rounding first on his way to second. The throw comes in late from Roberge, and it's a leadoff double to begin the third inning for Jackson Wall. Make that 5 straight multi-hit games now for the left fielder, who has been enjoying his return to the diamond. Started at Grand Canyon as a freshman, but then had his injury cut short, or his season cut short due to injury after 11 games, and then just didn't play in 23 or 24. Couldn't find any stats on him anywhere. And he's checked back in here at Felician and has been producing atop the order. As Jose Medrano showed bunt, pulled back, and misses upstairs for ball 1. Wall did play in the summer of 2022 with the Western Nebraska Pioneers of the Independence League. Played in 24 games. Medrano showed bunt again, and using his bat as basically a shield there. That was coming in high and tight, and just fouls it off. Makes it 1-1. Cortez now settles in here against Jose Medrano. Reached on an error and then was thrown out at home by Harvey Valera in right. 1-1, Medrano jammed inside, sends a towering pop-up into foul ground. Rivera drifts over, he makes the grab, and there's one gone in the third. Chris Corchado now steps in. He's 1 for 1, singled back in the first. Opened the scoring in game 1 with an RBI double. His return to Waterbury Municipal Stadium was a second-team all-conference first baseman with Post last season and spent his last 3 years with the Eagles before transferring to Felician. Takes that outside for ball 1. Wall over at second has good speed on him. Stole a base in game 1. And we've seen his aggressiveness on the base paths. It's hurt him twice. Got caught stealing in game 1 in the 9th inning. And then, obviously in this one, in the first inning, started the game with a single and then got picked off by Portez. (2-0). Corchado the other way and into left field. Out of reach for a diving Rivera, and puts runners on the corners with one gone. Wall was caught in no man's land. Didn't want to run too far and risk being tagged out by Rivera if that play were made. And so that sets the table for Rocco Bresniak. The right fielder is 1 for 1, singled back in the first. Had a couple of base hits in game 1. Picked up no RBIs, but he is a dangerous player. Takes the first pitch high and inside for ball 1. He was the NJCAA D3 Baseball Player of the Year at the JUCO level. Batted .568 with a .636 on base percentage. Drove in 82 runs. Takes a breaking ball outside, and the called strike makes it 1-1. Big swing on the pitch in the dirt, and it's 1-2. (1-2). Corchado going, gets away from Velasco behind the plate. And there's no throw down, and now both runners in scoring position for Bresniak. Junior transferred in from Brookdale Community College. The 2-2, called strike 3 on the outside corner. Bresniak goes down looking, and Portez got his second punch out of the afternoon. Anthony Lamar now comes up. He's got 2 runners in scoring position, and Felician trying to break through in this 3rd inning. They've had 6 hits, but no runs to show for it. Lamar has had an RBI in game 1. He takes the first pitch for a ball. Had a couple of base hits as well. He's 0 for 1 thus far with a ground out to Jesse Alfala that ended the 1st inning. Takes that high, and it's 2-0. For Lamar, he's extended his on-base streak to 4 consecutive games. Picked up another multi-hit game in game 1, his 4th overall on the year. 2-0 in the dirt, and it's 3-0. It's Corchado at second, Wall at third, the tying and go-ahead run on the base paths. A strike on the outer half from Portez, and taking all the way was Lamar. The 3-1. Lamar turns and sends a pop-up into left field. Roberge moving towards the line, drifts back, and makes the catch for out number 3. Felician strands a pair in the top of the 3rd. We head to the bottom half. Post still in front with a 1-0 lead on the CACC network. Bottom of the 3rd inning from Waterbury Municipal Stadium. Post in front 1-0 in game 2 of this Friday afternoon doubleheader. The Eagles looking for the split after Felician took game 1 12-5. And leading off in the bottom of the 3rd, Jesse Alfala, top of the order, due up for Post, facing Sadira Vicioso. And Alfala takes a called strike on the outer half, 0-1. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, happy to have you with me on this Friday afternoon. Alfala led off the bottom of the 1st with a single. Eventually came to score on the sacrifice fly from Justin Rivera. Rivera's 29th RBI of the season. 3rd RBI of the day for the 3rd baseman for Post. The 0-2. Alfala takes it down and in the dirt. 1-2. Vicioso spent his first 2 seasons at Stony Brook at the D1 level, mainly as a reliever, getting the start today, and has been a starter for Felician this season as Alfala fights off the 1-2 and puts it foul. Last season, he made 7 appearances through 15 1/3 innings pitched, posting a 5.87 ERA with 11 strikeouts to 11 walks. The 1-2, just a touch outside. Count evened at 2-2. Last appearance for Vicioso came on 29th of March at University of Bridgeport. Got the win as Alfala bounces this up the middle. Fielded on the backhand by Walters. Throws on the move. It pulls Corchado off the bag, and Alfala reaches safely. More on that last appearance for Vicioso. And through 5 innings, got the win. No runs allowed on 2 hits. Struck out 12 and walked just 3 on 96 pitches. Now Alfala will reach on the error against Walters. Roberge showing bunting. Polanco was halfway down the line at third. Time is called, and settling back onto the bump is Vicioso. Roberge, another bunt. That is fouled off. He bunted his first time up on the 3-4 putout from Corchado to Walters. Pushed Alfala into scoring position. Of course, he eventually came to score as well. So, prime example of Roberge doing his job, and it leading to the lead for Post. Polanco a few steps in. Snap throw over to first. Nearly in time to get Alfala, who was caught out. And on his dive back, it just looked like his feet were caught in quicksand. Didn't exactly able to power off the dirt and back in. The 0-1. High and inside, Roberge squared around, pulled back, and went dropping to the dirt to avoid that one. Count moves to 1-1 with nobody out. Alfala over at first. Damaris Rodriguez stands on deck. Worked to walk his last time up. And then Rivera's in the hole, who had the sac fly in the first. The 1-1, bunt shown again, that's high. Snap throw down the line. Alfala back in safely ahead of the throw from Medrano. Count goes to 2-1. Roberge able to get some contact on the bunt, but that is pushed foul down the first base side, and now he'll have to swing away in a 2-strike count. Infield backs up for Felician. Throw back over to first. A little wide from Vicioso. That went down and in, and it caught Roberge on the foot. A get out of jail free card for Hayden Roberge on the hit by pitch. Advancing over to second goes Alfala, as here comes Rodriguez up to the plate. That one buzzes the tower of Rodriguez as he leans out of the way, and it's 1-0. For Roberge, that was his 19th hit by pitch of the season. He has just struck out 13 times this year, and helps when you crowd the plate, similar to what Rodriguez has done so far. Is that 1-0 right down the gut, 1-1. Rodriguez, the co-CACC Player of the Week this past week. And he pulls this one through the left side of the infield. Alfala gets the wave around at third to throw home from Wall is cut off. And Post adds to its lead on an RBI single from Damaris Rodriguez. Makes it 2-0 Eagles in the bottom of the third. Roberge over to second. And Rodriguez has reached base both times today in game 2. Coming off a 2-for-4 game 1. Rivera, who had the sac fly, takes a called strike on the outer half. First baseman Corchado was halfway down the line, expecting potentially a bunt from Rivera. Now he drifts back behind first base, not holding on to Rodriguez. Rivera fouls off the 0-1, and it's quickly 0-2. Visocio looking for first out in this bottom of the third. Alfala reached on the air, then they hit by a pitch, and now the single from Rodriguez, and he gets it on a strikeout. Rivera climbs the ladder and couldn't catch up to the high fastball. First strikeout for Visocio. Isaiah Velasco now comes up. He's 0-for-1 with a ground out. That ended the bottom of the first. Cuts and misses on the first pitch, and it's 0-1. Velasco had the 3 RBIs in game 1 on a 2-for-5 day. On all 3 of his outs, all were strikeouts, all were by the looking variety. Year 1 is in there, and it's quickly 0-2. On all 3 occasions, Velasco had thought he had worked a walk, tossed his bat, and was then rung up by the home plate umpire. Here's the 0-2 home. Velasco fouls it off with a foul ball. Straight back behind home plate. Velasco in his first season with Post transferred in from University of Cal Berkeley. Didn't get much playing time with the Golden Bears throughout his time out west. Now checks out the East Coast and has been a steady part of the Post lineup. As a catcher and as a utility guy, he played in right field in game 1. He's behind the dish in game 2. Takes the fastball upstairs, and it's 1-2. Looking to pick up another RBI and extend this Post lead. He's got Roberge over at second. Rodriguez with a ton of speed at first. Velasco had a 2-run double and RBI triple in game 1. Lefty on lefty against Visocio. One, two. Fastball's high, 2-2. A 2-2. Fouled straight back. We'll do it all over again with 1 gone in the bottom of the third. Post adding to its lead on the RBI single from Damaris Rodriguez. Makes it 2-0 Eagles, and that's where we stand after the sac fly from Rivera in the first to drive in Alfala. 2-2 to Velasco. Swing and a miss. He goes down on strikes, back-to-back punch-outs for Visocio. And he's looking for 3 straight punch outs. Here as Jalen Kelly now comes up to bat. Kelly singled and then was out on the base paths on a fielder's choice off the bat of Harvey Valera, who stands on deck. First pitch to Kelly. Called strike on the outer half. Prior to the single from Kelly, he was 0 for his last 12. The 0-1 is outside 1-1. For Felician, you look back to that top of the 3rd inning, had 2 runners on, just 1 out, and weren't able to bring any runs across against Justin Portez. The 1-1, Kelly pops it up out of play, and the count moves to 1-2. That was a chance to at least tie, potentially take the lead if you were Felician. Weren't able to bring a run across as Brosniak went down looking, and then Lamar popped out to end the inning. The 1-2. Inside against Kelly, bounces away from Medrano, and both runners will advance another 90 feet. Roberge to 3rd and Rodriguez to 2nd. Puts both in scoring position for Jalen Kelly. Ball to the outfield can break this game wide open. Of course, in second half of this doubleheader, game 2 shortened to 7 innings. So the opportunities starting to dwindle just a little bit for Felician. 2-2, and Kelly pops it foul. Still a lot of baseball left, but with each passing out, time to strike and potentially get a sweep in this doubleheader for Felician. Gets a little smaller, especially if Post is able to take advantage here with Kelly. 2-2, 2 away, 2 runners on. Pitch home. And Kelly again fights it off. A sharply hit foul ball. Shift is on against Kelly. Big gap on the right side of the infield, but shifting over is Walters trying to cover that space. The 2-2 is high, and the count runs full with 2 gone. Payoff pitch, fouled off by Kelly. Kelly with a long battle. Another payoff pitch, and Kelly sends this in the air. Right center field, Brosniak moves over into the gap, and he makes a running grab, ranging to his right. And that ends the inning, but Post brings another run across on the RBI single from Damaris Rodriguez. We head into the 4th inning. It's Post up 2-0 on the CACC Network. Top of the fourth inning from Waterbury Municipal Stadium. Post looking for the split on this Friday afternoon doubleheader and trying to snap their 4-game skid against Felician with a 2-0 lead after the RBI single from Damaris Rodriguez tacked on another run. Hayden Walters leads off against Justin Portez, and he takes the first pitch ball down and inside. And if you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, delighted to have you with me on this Friday afternoon. The 1-0 to Walters. Burns the outside edge, and it's 1-1. 6, 7, and 8 due up for Felician. And if it gets any further, it'll be the 9-hitter in Christian Baumann. The 1-1 down in the dirt against Walters, who's 0 for 1 with a flyout to left his first time up. Ernesto Polanco stands on deck, and then Matt Skrivanek is in the hole. The 2-1 fouled off by Walters, 2-2. Felician took the front half of this doubleheader 12-5 behind a 4-run first inning and then some insurance later on after Post got close and made it 5-4. The Golden Falcons now working from behind against Justin Portez. Count sits at 2-2 to Walters. Two is outside, and actually that was ball 4. So Walters heads down to first base. Scoreboard hadn't fully updated. So leadoff man is aboard for Felician, and now Ernesto Polanco comes up to bat. Anyone after this will represent the tying run if Polanco does not get on. That is upstairs to Polanco. That's 1-0. Polanco 3 for 5 in game 1, 4 RBIs and a run scored as well. The 1-0. Down in the dirt, 2-0. Snap throw over to first. Walters dives back in. That was a low throw from Portez and a nice pick from Contreras holding up first base. Vega's at second. Alfala at short and Rivera at third. Velasco behind the dish. 2-0. High fastball. Polanco did not go around, and the count runs to 3-0. Rodriguez is out in center with Valera and right and Roberge in left. That's the defensive alignment for Post. 3-0 to Polanco is high, and it's a 4-pitch walk. Both of the first 2 batters for Felician reaching in this 4th inning, both on back-to-back walks. And now the tying run for Felician is on the base paths in Polanco, and we'll have a mound visit. Portez losing a little bit of control. And with that mound visit coming from Post, Felician also going to take time and talk with their runners in Walters and Polanco, and their hitter coming up, and Matt Skrivanek, the shortstop, is 1 for 1. He singled his last time up. Also hit his second home run of the season in game 1. That was in the 6th inning after Post had made it 5-4, and he stretched that cushion to 2 runs and kick-started what was a offensive onslaught for Felician over the last 4 innings of game 1, posting 7 runs, including 4 in the 9th. And Skrivanek looking to keep the good times going. Went 3 for 5 in game 1. Had a double and a single outside of that home run. first pitch. Fastball outside is swung on and missed by Skrivanik, and it's 0-1. Post feeling confident that a bunt's coming from Skrivanik, and he cuts and misses on the breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Can't imagine a bunt's coming on an 0-2 count as Contreras backs up behind first base. The 0-2 to Skrivanik. Checks his swing. Went around. And that's a strikeout for Portes. Third punch out of the afternoon in game 2 for Justin Portes. And now Christian Baumann comes up with 1 out. First pitch is a fastball outside. 1-0. Is high, and it's 2-0. Baumann picked up a couple of RBIs in the 9th inning of game 1. Hadn't had an RBI since the 22nd of March at Queens. That was 9 games until he picked up his next one in game 1. Jammed inside. It sends a 2-0 into shallow left center field, and drifting back onto the outfield grass to make the grab is Jesse Alfala. And after the first 2 batters reached on walks, Justin Portes has settled back onto the mound and has put down the next 2 in Skrivanik and Baumann. And now Jackson Wall steps into the righty's batter's box, who is 2 for 2 today in game 2. A single and a double so far. Was also productive in game 1 as well. And he's hit on the first pitch to load the bases. Brings up Jose Medrano, the catcher. Reached on an error. And then popped out is 2 times at the dish. And we're going to get another mound visit. This time, Ray Skold, the head coach for Post, is going to go to the bullpen against Medrano. Portes upset, walks off the mound, and coming into the game for Post looks to be Zion Frazier. So we will take a break as Frazier gets warmed up, and we'll come back with the bases loaded and 2 outs on the CACC network. Zion Frazier has come onto the mound. The right-hander for Post will check in and make his 10th appearance of the season, 8th out of the bullpen. Holds a 4.91 ERA and a 3-0 record through 22 innings of work. Faces Jose Medrano with the bases loaded and 2-away. First pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. Can't close the book just yet on Justin Portez, who goes 3 2/3, giving up 6 hits with 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. All the runners on the base paths are his responsibility. The 1-0. Frazier finds the zone against Medrano. Frazier, through 22 innings, has given up 18 runs, 12 of those earned on 29 hits with 20 strikeouts to 7 walks. Opponents are batting .302 against the righty as he's outside on the fastball. Counts at 2-1. Frazier, a sophomore right-hander out of New London, Connecticut, transferred from Stony Brook. 2-1. Breaking ball. Drops below the knees, and now it's 3-1 to Medrano. And the righty-on-righty matchup. Nowhere to put Medrano here. On the biggest at-bats thus far. The 3-1 home. Down the chute. Count runs full against Medrano. Walls at first. Polanco's at second. Walters at third. Frazier steps off the bag. Polanco was dancing around over at second, but no one was covering. And so he just does a belly flop back into second. And Medrano sets back in the righty's batter's box. And time is called. An umpire timeout, and here we go again. The payoff pitch from Frazier. Medrano fights it off with a foul ball. All runners will be going. A ball to the outfield could potentially score Polanco from second. He's the tying run. Payoff pitch. Medrano hits a line drive straight to Rivera at third, who makes the grab. And the inning is over. Frazier comes in, does his job, and slams the door on a bases-loaded situation for Jose Medrano and Felician. We head to the bottom half of the fourth, Post up 2-0 over Felician. Bottom of the fourth inning, 7, 8, and 9 due up for Post. Harvey Valera, Manny Contreras, and Rene Vega to face Sadira Visocio, left-hander for Felician. Was giving up a run in the first and in the third. Damaris Rodriguez drove in the RBI single of Jesse Alfala. Or Rodriguez drove in Alfala for the RBI single. As leading off, Valera took a called strike one and now takes that outside, and the count moves to 1-1. Matt Scalzo with you on the CACC Network. It's been an exciting game two. Game one was a high-octane offensive start from Felician and a finish as well. Posted 4 runs in the first and then brought in 7 runs over the last 4 innings. Post got it in close, made it 5-4, but then weren't able to get any closer as Felician got its bats alive. Their bats have been quiet in game two. Just no runs have come across to score as Visocio deals a breaking ball back in, works the count full against Valera, who is 0 for 1, reached on a fielder's choice. 3-2, breaking ball. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Third strikeout for Visocio. First by the looking variety, and all 3 have come in the last 4 batters. Manny Contreras now comes up, 0 for 1 with a fly out to left. In the top of the fourth, Felician loaded the bases as the first pitch is in for a strike from Visocio on the breaking ball to Contreras, and it's 0-1. A couple of walks and a hit by pitch loaded the bases for Jose Medrano, the catcher for Felician. That fastball is high and outside, 1-1. And Justin Portes was pulled out. Zion Frazier checked in, and Medrano lined out to Rivera at third. And a pumped up Zion Frazier was rightfully pumped up as he should be. Slammed the door shut for Felician and held them scoreless once again. 2-1, breaking ball, pulled down the line, foul on the third base side off the bat of Contreras. Count evens at 2-2 with 1 gone. Rene Vega stands on deck, grounded out unassisted to the first baseman Corchado, his first time up in the second. Two is outside of Contreras, and the count runs full. The payoff pitch. Breaking ball is fouled off by Contreras. Another payoff pitch dealt outside, and Contreras works a 1-out walk. Vega now comes up to bat. Runner on first in Contreras. Vega's 0 for 1 in game 2. Batted in the 2 spot in game 1, drops to the 9 hole in game 2. This one he squares a bunt around. Corchado picks it up, flips to Walters, and he's got him at first. The speedy Vega was trying to get by and get on base, potentially with a bunt, put that in a good spot. Corchado had to come off the bag. It was too far for Visocio to cover, or to go and get the ball and let Corchado stay on the bag. And so Walters with good speed, second time we've seen him cover first base. And now we'll see a mound visit. And will this be the end of the road for Visocio as the top of the order is coming back up for the 3rd time? There's been a right-hander warming in the Felician bullpen. It's been Kyle Bednarski, but we won't see him just yet. Visocio will stay out there against Jesse Alfala It was reached base both times, singled and then reached on an error in the third. Both times he's coming to score in the first and in the third. Contreras stands over at second after the sac bunt from Vega. First pitch breaking ball is in for a strike from the southpaw. Working against the righty in Alfala. The 0-1. Check swing, and Alfalo won around, says the home plate umpire, and it's quickly 0-2. And Ray Skold, the head coach for Post, visibly upset and when the home plate umpire hear it. The 0-2. Alfala fouls it off his foot. Besocio looking for one more strike to end this fourth inning, and Strand Contreras over at second. The 0-2. Fastball up above the zone, 1-2. Checks the runner at second, the 1-2 home. Brushes inside, and the count evens at 2-2. The 2-2. And Alfala fights it off with a foul ball down the right field line. Alfala's done a good job throughout today's game, in game 2 and game 1 as well. Just fighting off pitch after pitch, trying to work the counts. Vicioso likely, not sure if he'll come out for the 5th inning, but trying to get through 4 at least. The 2-2. Comebacker. Vicioso gloves, tosses to first, and the inning is over. Vicioso flashing the leather as we head into 5th. Post with a 2-0 lead on the CACC network. Into the top of the 5th inning on the CACC network. Post with a 2-0 lead over Felician in game 2 of this Friday afternoon doubleheader. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, delighted to have you with me. Felician took game one, 12-5. They're looking to work from behind and get the win in game two and get the sweep. Meanwhile, Post looking for the split as Zion Frazier steps into his first full inning of work, delivers a beautiful breaking ball on the outer half to Chris Corchado for a called strike, and then Corchado takes the breaking ball low, and it's 1-1. There's been a defensive change for Post. Dario Sosa checks in right field in place of Harvey Valera. Corchado grounds the 1-1 foul, and it's 1-2. Frazier's last appearance came on Tuesday against Wilmington. Went 3 2/3 in game one, and a 19-14 loss for Post. The 1-2 bounces inside right over top the shoes of Corchado, and it's 2-2. In that appearance against Wilmington, Frazier went 3 2/3 here, a ground ball, first base side. Frazier will cover on the flip from Contreras, and there's one gone. As Corchado, who was 2 for 2 prior to that point, now goes down. Nice job by Frazier to cover. As I was saying, 3 2/3 against Wilmington, gave up 5 runs, 2 of those earned on 6 hits. Struck out 3, walked nobody. Rocco Bresniak steps in and watches that breaking ball drop into the outer half, and it's 0-1. Frazier tends to work quickly on the mound, and he's off and going once again and continues to work in that looping breaking ball. Expect to see a heavy dose of it as well. The 1-2. Bresniak pulls this through the 5-6 hole and into left field for a 1-out base hit. Second hit in game two for Bresniak. Had a single back in the first. And it's a pair of multi-hit games on this Friday afternoon for Bresniak. His 12th multi-hit game of the season. And has started a new 2-game hitting streak. Had a 12-game streak snapped in game 2 against Chestnut Hill. Lamar swings on the first pitch. Sends a towering pop-up that is handled by Alfalo. Just took a step onto the outfield grass for out number 2. Hayden Walters now comes up. He started the 4th inning with a walk and was left stranded over at third in a bases-loaded situation just an inning ago for Felician. It was Jose Medrano that was up to bat, and Zion Frazier, that was the first batter he faced. Got the out and shut the door for Felician, who was trying to bring its first run across. Had 12 runs in game 1, and they've been stifled by this pitching staff for Post in game 2. A combination of Portez and Frazier. Breaking ball from Frazier misses high, and it's 1-1. Felician has had hits. That's not the problem. They've got 7 of them, but it's getting those runners in a scoring position and just finding a way to bring them home has been the issue. Now, it's not as many extra base hits, just the one extra base hit from Jackson Wall, the double to lead off the third. Other than that, it's all been singles. You look at the first inning of game 1 alone, Felician had 3 extra base hits, a couple of doubles, and a triple as well from Hayden Walters. He had a pair in game 1. The 1-2, Walters swings, lifts a fly ball straight away center field. Rodriguez drifts back, and he makes the catch to end the inning. Bresniak stranded on the bases as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Post still pitching a shutout. It's 2-0 Eagles on the CACC network. Bottom of the fifth inning from Waterbury Municipal Stadium. 2-0 Post in front in game two. Looking for the split and to take the back half of this Friday afternoon doubleheader. Felician took game one 12-5. But this Post pitching staff, in combination of Justin Portez and Zion Frazier, have found a way to stifle Felician and limit them to just base hits, no extra base hits, just the one double from Jackson Wall. Hayden Roberge leads off and takes the first pitch strike to begin the bottom of the fifth. New pitcher on the mound, Kyle Bednarski, steps on the bump for Felician. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, glad to have you with me on this Friday afternoon. Bednarski's looping breaking ball drifts outside, and it's 1-1. For Bednarski this season, this is his seventh appearance, comes in with a 3.86 ERA as Roberge flies this one out towards right field. And the catch is made by Bresniak for out number one. Damaris Rodriguez steps into the lefty's batter's box. A switch hitter working against the righty in Bednarski. First pitch swinging, and this is popped up. Foul ground, left field. Trying to make the diving grab was Jackson Wall, and he's not able to come up with it. And it's 0-1. As I was saying for Bednarski, a 3.86 ERA, a 2-0 record through 6 appearances this year. This marks number 7 on the year. He's thrown 7 innings, giving up 3 runs, all of them earned on 10 hits. He has struck out 6 with 2 walks. Opponents are batting .333 against the righty. He's in his junior season out of West Milford, New Jersey. The 0-1, Rodriguez shows bunt. Did not go around as he was able to pull back, and it's 1-1. That closed the book on Sadira Visosio. Went 4 innings, giving up 2 runs, one of them earned on 3 hits. 3 strikeouts to 2 walks. He threw 92 total pitches. Counts at 1-2 with 1 gone to Rodriguez. A pitch home. Outside, 2-2. Justin Rivera stands on deck. If it gets any further, it would be Isaiah Velasco to come up. Rodriguez shoots this the other way and into the left center field gap. Rodriguez will dig for second. The throw comes in offline from Wall. That's a 1-out stand-up double for Damaris Rodriguez. He's reached base all 3 times today in game 2. Walked back in the first, had an RBI single in the third, and now has the double to put him in scoring position. And Rivera looks for another RBI. Had 2 in game 1. Had the sac fly in game 1 to open the scoring, in game 2 to open the scoring. And he looks for his 30th RBI of the season if he's able to drive in Rodriguez. First pitch breaking ball loops outside from Bednarski. Corchado runs down the line. He's halfway between first and home. The throwback from Bednarski spiked in, but a block made by Walters, who was covering second base, as Rodriguez slid back in. The 1-0. Breaking ball. Catches the inside edge. 1-1. Rodriguez going for third. Throw is low, and Rodriguez is in standing up. 90 feet away from stretching this lead up to 3 is Post. If Rivera is able to drive in Rodriguez with 1 out, he can just try and get a ball to the outfield. Infield will come in for Felician. Two one, and Rivera fouls it off. Bednarski with a bit of almost a hitch in his motion. Gets up and then goes up just a little bit more, and Rodriguez was able to time that up, and with his speed, it was enough to pick up another stolen base on the year. 2-2, spiked in, blocked by Medrano. Count runs full with 1 gone. 8th stolen base of the year for Rodriguez. Had a stolen bag in game 1. Bednarski looks in. Payoff pitch to Rivera. Driven back out towards center field. Long run for Bauman racing back. He's able to make the grab. Tagging is Rodriguez. He'll come in to score. It's another sac fly for Justin Rivera. And it's 3-0 Post in the bottom of the 5th. Rivera with another RBI. His second in game 2. 4th total on the day. Isaiah Velasco now comes up. He's 0 for 2. He's 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs in game 1. He's got a ground out and a strikeout thus far. He struck out 4 times today across the 2 games. 3 of them have come by the looking variety and then strikeout swing for the first time today, back in the 3rd inning here of game 2. The 1-0. Fastball right down the gut from Bednarski. Righty on lefty matchup here with the bases empty and 2 away. The 1-2, or the 1-1 rather, is low and the count moves to 2-1 with 2 away. Post has only scored in the odd-numbered innings. 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 3rd, and now 1 in the 5th. Two-one. Velasco lifts it in the air. Left field. Wall moves over towards the line, and he makes the grab for out number 3. Post brings in another on the sac fly from Rivera to drive in Rodriguez. It's 3-0 Eagles as we head into the 6th on the CACC Network. Top of the sixth inning from Waterbury Municipal Stadium. 3-0 Post in front after Justin Rivera picked up his second sacrifice fly, driving in Damaris Rodriguez in the bottom of the fifth. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, delighted to have you with me. Post looking to split the doubleheader on this Friday afternoon. Ernesto Polanco leads off against Zion Frazier and takes the first pitch strike on the breaking ball from Frazier. Polanco had a strong game one with 4 RBIs. Also on his fourth school in 4 years as Polanco sends the chopper to Alfala at short. Quick throw on to first, pulls Contreras off the bag, and Polanco is aboard as the leadoff man on the error from Alfala. As I was saying, Polanco, I mentioned it in game one, but if you weren't with me there, Polanco on his fourth school in 4 years, started at Coastal Carolina as a freshman, did not play in any games, was a highly touted prospect, that number 23 prospect out of the state of New Jersey by a perfect game, and was a perfect game preseason All-American honorable mention 3 times. Once as a senior and 2 times as an underclassman. And then after his time at Coastal, went to Charleston Southern in 2023, batted .260, 11 RBIs and 2 home runs in 39 games, 32 of those being starts. He transferred again back up to New Jersey. He's a native of West New York, New Jersey, and went to Rowan College of South Jersey, where he was an NJCAA D3 national champion with Rowan. They went back-to-back, and they're looking for the three-peat this year. Was a third-team All-American infielder, batted .353 with 7 home runs, 74 RBIs, and a .430 on-base percentage. Had 5 RBIs and 5 hits in the national championship game. As we'll now have a pinch hitter for Matt Skrivanek. It'll be Cole Porter that comes in to bat, shows bunt, pulls back, and takes a ball outside. Porter, a .292 hitter, makes his 11th appearance of the season. He started in 8 games. He's 7 for 24 at the dish, has a couple of RBIs. As that misses high from Frazier, and it's 2-0. Porter getting on base at a .393 clip. A 2-0. Sends a high bunt first base side, goes foul. Felician going to need a big offensive inning that they had in game one. 4 runs in the first, 4 runs in the ninth. They also put up 2 in the 7th. In game one, 2-1. Porter pops the bunt foul, third base side. Rivera could not get over in time, and count moves to 2-2 with nobody out. Polanco's on first. Reached on an error from Alfala. Two, and Porter fouls it off of home plate. Two. Porter pokes it the other way. Sosa charges in, and he makes the grab for out number 1. Dario Sosa came in as a defensive substitution in the top of the 5th inning in place of Harvey Valera. Christian Bauman now comes up to bat, the center fielder. He's 0 for 2. First pitch fastball stamps the outside edge. That's 0-1 against Bauman. He's 0 for 2 in game 2, and he's just 1 for 7 on the day. Takes that high and outside 1-1. A strikeout and a pop out in game 2. Had 4 pop outs in game 1 before a 2-run double in the 9th inning of game 1. The 1-1. In the dirt, gets away from Velasco. Jogging down to second goes Polanco. Because the 2-1 outside to Bauman, and it's 3-1. The 3-1 catches the top of the zone. Full count now to Bauman. He's got Polanco over at second, top of the order, standing on deck with Jackson Wall. The payoff pitch inside. It looks like it caught a piece of Bauman. And limping behind home plate is Isaiah Velasco, the catcher for Post. He appears to be all right. Gets some water checked on by Ray Skold, the head coach for Post. In his 6th season at the helm, came into today in game 2 with a 113 and 101 record at Post. Coming off a CACC championship in 2024. They've won 3 straight North Division titles. Was 2023 Coach of the Year in the conference after setting a program record with 36 wins, going 22-3 in conference play, but fell in the championship that year to Felician. And head coach Chris Langen, who's in his 21st season, picked up win number 527 in his illustrious career at Felician. 3-time conference champion, 4-time Coach of the Year. And now we'll see a mound visit between Frazier, Velasco, and pitching coach Brian Looney, who's in his first season with Post. A wealth of pro experience. Was drafted in 1998 and then was later drafted in the 10th round of the 1991 draft by the Montreal Expos. Made his MLB debut in 1993. He's got an extensive experience as a major leaguer, and that is something that Ray Skold is happy to have on his staff. Jackson Wall takes the first pitch breaking ball high for ball 1. So Felician again with runners on. They've put runners on in every inning, 3 of which have had multiple runners on. This marks the 4th inning where they've had multiple runners on, and they've left all of them on base. We'll see if the 6th inning holds something different, as Wall is now ahead 2-0. He's reached base all 3 times, a single, a double, and a hit by pitch. Frazier on a righty-on-righty matchup. Long look in. And now he steps off. The 2-0. catches the outside corner from Frazier, and it's 2-1 now to Wall. Jose Medrano stands on deck as the 2-1 misses outside, and it's 3-1 now to Wall. Medrano had the bases loaded in the fourth, lined out to end the inning. The 3-1 is low to Wall, and once again the bases are loaded for Felician. And Jose Medrano comes up to bat once again. Back-to-back walks issued by Frazier. There's another right-hander getting loose for Post in the bullpen. And C.J. Pierce. First pitch to Medrano, the breaking ball. Low and away, 1-0. Medrano was the first batter that Frazier faced. He came in that fourth inning with the bases loaded and 2 away. Medrano drives this the other way, right field, long run for Sosa. He can't get there. Polanco will score. Bauman's going to come and score. Wall get in the wave around. It's a bases clearing triple, and the game is evened at 3. Redemption for Jose Medrano. A 3-run triple, and it's a whole new ball game, evened up at 3. It was a long run for Dario Sosa, who's come in as a defensive change, and he just couldn't get over to the right center field gap in time. And Medrano, in a deja vu situation, flips the script and ignites this Felician offense and stands 90 feet away as the go-ahead run in this 6th inning. He's met by a flurry of his teammates mobbed as he heads towards the dugout, as Post will head to the bullpen and C.J. Pierce will get the ball. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get you everything you need to know. Felician ties it at 3 on a 3-run triple from Jose Medrano. Jose Medrano has flipped this game on its head. It was once a 3-0 Post lead. It is now a 3-3 ball game after Jose Medrano, who was up with the bases loaded in the top of the fourth, facing Zion Frazier, the first batter that Frazier faced. Well, it's also the last batter that Zion Frazier sees, as Medrano delivered a bases-clearing triple with the bases loaded again in the 6th inning, this time going the other way to right center field, out of reach for a charging Dario Sosa, and now he stands on third base 90 feet away from Felician taking its first lead in Game 2. As they took the lead in Game 1, never gave it back, and now Chris Corchado will face C.J. Pierce, a top reliever for one of the top relievers for Post. Comes in his 11th appearance, has 4 saves on the year, 4.85 ERA, and a 1-2 record through 13 innings. Corchado takes the first pitch, breaking ball high for ball 1. Pierce has given up 7 runs, all of them earned on 11 hits, has 18 Ks to 7 walks. Opponents are hitting .244 against him, as Corchado is 2 for 3. Takes ball 2 in the dirt, and it's 2-0. 2-0. And Corchado grounds it foul down the third base side. Infield is in for Post. Corchado just has to get this to the outfield with one out. Sac fly gives Felician the lead. The 2-1. And Corchado rockets it foul the other way. Count moves to 2-2. The 2-2 bounces in the dirt, bounces away from Velasco, but not that far, and holding a third is Medrano. Pierce making his first appearance since Sunday against Southern Connecticut State with 1 1/3 innings, giving up 1 hit, no runs, with a strikeout and no walks. Picked up the save and a 13-10 Post win. 3-2. Corchado on the ground to Rivera. He'll come home with the throw. Medrano tagged out for the second time. Medrano trying to open the scoring in the first, was thrown out by Harvey Valera. Now he looked to give Felician the lead. Came home on a grounder to Rivera at third, and he was out by a couple of steps as well. And so now the go-ahead run for Felician is over at first, and Corchado, Rocco Bresniak, steps in and takes the first pitch strike from C.J. Pierce. Well, Medrano was thrown out, but he's certainly given Felician some life with that bases-clearing triple to tie it up at 3. The 0-1 is outside, and it's 1-1. Medrano also tripled in the 9th inning of Game 1 and is blown at bat in that game after he replaced Luis De La Cruz, who left with an injury. The 1-1, Corchado going. The throw down from Velasco is offline and goes into center field. Corchado digging for third. He's in there standing up, and he holds on at third. And now Felician back in the same spot they were just a batter ago. Although there are now 2 outs. But Corchado steals second and advances on the error. And now they're going to intentionally walk Bresniak to bring up Anthony Lamar. So Lamar comes up. He's 0 for 3 in Game 2. Takes the first pitch ball outside. So the go-ahead run for Felician back again, 90 feet away. Lamar was 2 for 5 in Game 1. Picked up an RBI ground out in the first inning. 1-0. Fouls it back, 1-1. Would not be surprised to see Bresniak go early enough in this at-bat to try and wipe away a force out at second base. The 1-1. Lamar checks his swing, does not go around. Counts at 2-1. They do appeal down to first, and again, they say did not go around. 2-1 with 2 away. 3-3 ball game. In the dirt, 3-1. Pierce has struggled to find the zone coming out of the bullpen. And this is a Felician order that does not strike out a ton. Works a lot of long counts. The 3-1. And Lamar grounds it foul, third base side. Felician has worked 5 walks in this contest. 3 of them have come in this inning. They're looking for a 4th here. Payoff pitch from Pierce. Inside, called strike 3. Lamar goes down looking, and a huge strikeout for C.J. Pierce to close the door and stonewall Felician from taking the lead here in the 6th. But it's Jose Medrano with the 3-run bases clearing triple. Evens us at 3 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Post looking to take the lead back. It's a whole new ball game on the CACC network. Three the score as we come into the bottom of the 6th on the CACC network. Jose Medrano, the 3-run triple in the top of the 6th inning, has tied this game at 3. But C.J. Pierce able to shut the door and keep Felician from taking the lead in the top of the 6th inning. But it's a whole new ball game at Waterbury Municipal Stadium. Kyle Bednarski back on the bump, deals the first pitch strike on the outer half to Jalen Kelly. 6, 7, and 8 due up for Post in this bottom half of the 6th inning. If you're just joining me, Matt Scalzo, delighted to have you with me. This is shaping into a good one in the back half of this doubleheader on this Friday afternoon. We've now shifted into the evening as Bednarski misses outside. Kelly sends a towering pop-up into the outfield. Jackson Wall, who is shifted over to shortstop, ranges back, and he makes the grab out in left center field when that ball finally came down. Tristan Gove has now come in left field after Matthew Skrivanik was pinch hit by Cole Porter. That brings up Dario Sosa, who makes his first appearance at the dish. Came in as a defensive sub for Harvey Valera in the 5th inning. Takes the first pitch ball from Bednarski. The 1-0. Breaking ball loops back in and catches the inside corner. It froze Sosa. He thought he was going to hit him, and he leaned out of the way. And then that devastating curve just catches that inside corner. The 1-1 goes back to it. And again, that one's starting a little less inside, and that one breaking back over the heart of the plate. Sosa now in a 1-2 hole. Bednarski goes back to it. Sosa lines it up the middle. Diving stop made by Wall, but Sosa with too much speed. He's able to reach base safely. Brings up Manny Contreras, the 8-hitter for Post. Sosa has not attempted to steal a base this season, but Thought we were going to have the athletic trainer check on Sosa, but he says, no, I'm all good. Waves him off and settles in at first base. Contreras so far today. He's 0 for 1 in game 2. Fly out and a walk. Shows bunt. Pulls back. Snap throw back to first. Sosa caught out. Jose Medrano stepping up offensively and defensively. The back pick gets Sosa, and there's 2 away. A phenomenal throw from Jose Medrano, and Sosa goes back shaking his head. The 1-0, the breaking ball again from Bednarski that's just been freezing these post hitters. Again, against righties, it's especially so tough with the horizontal break and vertical break as Contreras pops up a 1-1. This on the left side of the infield and in and out of the glove of Polanco. He was looking for out number 3 and just popped out of his glove, and the inning will continue as now Rene Vega will come up, the 9-hitter. That'll be an error against Polanco, and now Vega comes up. Grounded out and then had a sac bunt his last time up in the 4th. Fastball, a called strike on the outer half, burning the edge of the zone, and it's 0-1 to Vega. Here's the 0-1. Outside, another aggressive lead from Contreras. Vega, the switch hitter, batting in the lefties batter's box. It'll make it tough for Medrano to throw back to first, but he certainly has confidence in doing so. Contreras going. The throw from Medrano offline, backed up by Walters with a snag at second base. Contreras in with a stolen bag, puts him in scoring position for Vega. First stolen bag of the year for Manny Contreras. I will now have a mound visit between Medrano and Bednarski. And a 2-1 count with 2 away to Rene Vega. Felician could have been out of this inning. Of course, the dropped pop-up by Ernesto Polanco, and it was a tough play. That ball was hit a mile in the air by Manny Contreras. Polanco started in foul ground, and then the wind has been pushing out towards right field all of today. Pushed him back into the field of play and just popped out of his mitt. So he's in scoring position now, Contreras, after reaching on the error, now with the stolen base. 2-1, Vega back up the middle, goes off the hand of Bednarski into the mitt of Wall, fires on the first in the stretch by Corchado. He's able to hold his toe on the bag and end the inning. Contreras stranded on the bases, and we head into the 7th and final inning, tied at 3. There could be extra innings potentially upcoming, but we will see as we come into the 7th, tied at 3. C.J. Pierce heading back out to the bump on the CACC Network. into the 7th inning, tied at 3 between Post and Felician. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Golden Falcons in the top of the 7th. They trailed 3-0 for most of the game until Jose Medrano got his shot at redemption. After lining out with the bases loaded in the 4th, he delivered a 3-run bases-clearing triple to tie it up at 3. That's where we stand coming into the 7th inning as Hayden Walters leads off. He's 0 for 2, worked a walk in the 4th. A couple of flyouts on the rest of his ABs. Was ahead 0-2, and then stamping the outside edge was Pierce to work the count 2-0. Walters turns on this one, drives it out towards center field. Rodriguez drifting back, and in the shadow of the wall, he's able to come up with the catch for out number 1. Ernesto Polanco now comes up to bat. He reached on an error to begin the 6th inning and eventually came in to score, part of that aforementioned clutch triple, 3-run triple from Jose Medrano. And Polanco takes the first pitch strike on the inner half. Pierce working quickly the 0-1. Breaking ball. Polanco lines it into center field. It'll drop in for a base hit, and the go-ahead run is aboard, represented by Ernesto Polanco. And we had a pinch hitter in the last time in this 8th spot. It was Cole Porter. He then flew out. And now we'll have a pinch hitter again in the 7th inning. This time it's Tristan Gove, who came in as a defensive change in left field, put Jackson Wall at shortstop. First pitch to Gove is high for ball 1. Gove is 3 for 20 so far this year. He's making his 14th appearance, batting 150 on the year. He's got a couple of RBIs, reaching base at a 261 clip. Takes that high for ball 2. Gove jammed inside, pops it first base side, and the catch is made by Contreras for out number 2. Phenomenal play by Manny Contreras. Quick reaction speed to get over there to make the play, and that's out number 2. And as Christian Bauman comes up to bat, work to walk in the 6th. First pitch fastball is just above the zone, 1-0. Bauman, ground ball through the right side of the infield. Into right field, bobbled by Sosa. But Polanco holds at second. And now it's back to the top of the order as Bauman gets on for the 2nd time in a row. And it's the ever dangerous Jackson Wall coming up to bat. Wall has reached base all 4 times he has come up today. Walked in the 1st, doubled in the 3rd, was hit by a pitch in the 4th, and then walked again in the 6th, eventually came to score. He was the tying run. And now he looks to give Felician a lead with Polanco in scoring position. 1-0 right at the knees for a called strike. The 1-1 is high. Velasco was looking to fire down to second. Polanco was ushered back. 2-1 with 2 away. The pitch from Pierce. Wall flies it out right field. Sosa moves over, and he's able to come up with it for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Post looking for the walk-off win in Game 2. Find out when we come back on the CACC Network. Bottom of the 7th inning, Post looking for a walk-off if they can get it to win Game 2. 3-3 the score between Post and Felician. Felician took Game 1 of this doubleheader, 12-5. They've come all the way back to tie it up at 3 with a 3-run 6th off the bat of Jose Medrano. A bases-clearing 3-run triple. Got redemption after he lined out his last time up with the bases loaded. Delivered this time around. Matt Scalzo with you on the CACC Network. Delighted you could join me for this thriller as Jesse Alfala swings on the 1-0, drives it out towards left center field, and it one hops into the wall. Alfala in with a leadoff stand-up double. And now Hayden Roberge comes up to bat. Going to have a visit between the batter and Roberge, runner, and Alfala with head coach Ray Skold, who's also third base coach, and Howard Rebun, who is the first base coach for Post. Understanding this situation, Post trying to snap a 4-game skid as well. They were swept on Tuesday against Wilmington. Lost the back half of their Sunday doubleheader against Southern Connecticut State. And, of course, dropped Game 1 of this one. But Hayden Roberge with a chance to deliver a walk-off. If he's able to drive in Alfala. He was 0 for 4, left 5 runners on in Game 1. He's reached on a hit-by-pitch, flown out, and had a sac bunt so far today. First pitch is just a touch inside from Bednarski. The 1-0. Roberge lines it into left field. Getting the wave around is Alfala. The throw home from Gove is not in time. Check, please. The walk-off from Hayden Roberge. And Post is able to take Game 2 4-3 over Felician, and they split the doubleheader. He's mobbed by his teammates out in short, met with the Gatorade shower, and Post snaps its 4-game skid. They get back in the win column on the RBI single from Hayden Roberge, the walk-off in Game 2. And the Eagles take it 4-3. They improve to 15-12 on the season. Felician drops to 16-13 overall. And what a way to get back in the win column for Post. And they also continued their trend of only scoring in the odd-numbered innings, all with 1 run. They answered back after that momentum swung back into Felician's favor with the 3-run bases-clearing triple from Jose Medrano. But they did not have enough, did the Golden Falcons, in getting that one done. Post gets the split 4-3 in Game 2. We might have an interview after this one, and if so, stay tuned for that one. But that'll do it for this afternoon doubleheader. Felician took Game 1 12-5, a thriller in Game 2. Felician came all the way back to tie it at 3, but Hayden Roberge driving in Jesse Alfala to take Game 2 4-3. And also closes out a 6-game homestand for Post. They'll be on the road on Sunday to finish up this series against Felician in Rutherford, New Jersey. First pitch coming up around 12 p.m. on Sunday in that contest. Weather is, of course, iffy this weekend, so this game was moved up from tomorrow to today, and we'll see what Sunday holds. But that'll do it for today's doubleheaders. Stay tuned for potentially some interviews, likely the walk-off hero in Hayden Roberge, but we will see. But that'll do it. Special thanks to everyone that was able to tune in. For my producer today, Grace, happy birthday to her as well. We'll see you next time on the CACC Network. I've been Matt Scalzo, signing off from Waterbury Municipal Stadium. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Matt Scalzo, along with walk-off hero Hayden Roberge, Post getting the 4-3 win in Game 2. Hayden, you had struggled most of the day. What was said when you met with Coach and Jesse ahead of that at-bat?
He just said that Jesse did an awesome job of leading us off with a double. If he doesn't hit that double, that's just a base hit. It's just another base hit. We still got to go 3 bases. So kudos to Jesse. That was huge for us. In the meeting, Coach just said, Jesse, Hayden's going to hit a base hit here. You got to be going to score. We're playing for the win. And Jesse got on his horse and scored. So, yeah.
How did it feel to kind of have that moment after a tough Game 1 for you? You left a lot of runners on, but you bounced back. You came up when you needed it most.
Well, I feel like Game 1 I left a lot of runners on, but I've been working a lot this week on trying to get back to what I was doing earlier on in the season when I was doing very, very well. So just kind of sticking to my process, even though I wasn't being successful on the stat sheet. I felt like I was still having quality at bats. I was swinging at pitches that I should be swinging at, and I kind of just kept that same approach in the last at bat and hit the single.
How big was it for you guys to get that win, especially after dropping 4 games in a row and now get back in the win column?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, Felician's kind of a rivalry. Skip always talks about it, how we're always neck and neck for the number 1 seed in the North Division. So they're a good team, and it's awesome to beat them.
What can you say about that guy that I'm going to talk to in a few moments? CJ coming in, getting those big outs.
I mean, I told him the last 3 or 4 games when we were losing, I said, CJ, I'm trying to get you to pitch, man. So finally we got him in, and he shut the door.
Well, congrats, Hayden. Enjoy this one.
Awesome. Thank you.
Matt Scalzo alongside C.J. Pierce. C.J., you came in a big spot after Felician had tied the game at 3. You were able to get a big couple of outs and force that into the 7th inning, and you set the table for Hayden to get the win. What was working for you on the mound?
Anytime I pitch, I always try to attack fastball. Today's a little different just because these guys see fastball well, so I got to mix pitches. I use my curveball a lot today, so that got the job done.
What was the mindset for you coming in those spots? You had seen the momentum flip back into Felician's favor.
Just go out there, throw strikes. I know my guys in the field are going to make plays for me, and fortunately they did today again.
What was it like getting back in the win column? I know Hayden talked about how big it was for you guys, especially against a rival like Felician. How did it feel for you?
Great. I mean, losing the first one sucks, but coming back, winning the second one, and then playing for hopefully three wins this weekend on Sunday is cool.
How do you keep momentum rolling into Sunday?
Just play with a lot of energy, same way I've been doing all year.
Well, congrats on the win,
Thank you.
CJ.
Appreciate it.